Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. As I like to point out each and every day, it expands our base. Chaos, confusion, carnage. I cannot describe what is happening in Washington, D.C. under the leadership of President Donald Trump with any other words. We can see every single day what the result of the Trump presidency has brought us so far. Let me begin with the purge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the military. Unprecedented in American political history. Unprecedented in American military history. What we are seeing is a president of the United States asserting political control of the United States military. The one thing that Harry Truman taught us is that the military should not play politics. And we remember when he fired General Douglas MacArthur. And the simple truth is Truman was right. If you have political views, get out of the military and run. But what we're seeing now is the exact opposite. What we are seeing now is the President of the United States beheading those who he believes do not support him. It is carnage in every way in the U.S. military. May I be so bold as to say that our fighting effectiveness may be affected by what is going on at this very moment. And where is the outrage? Where is the distress? I mean, if Joe Biden had pulled something like this, or Barack Obama had pulled something like this, why, all hell would have been paid. There's no question about that. And that's not all. We have seen the President of the United States authorize a vote in the United Nations for a resolution which is backed by all of our enemies. All of our friends opposed our vote. Of course, it has to do with Ukraine. And on this, the third anniversary of the invasion by Russia of Ukraine, we have a president of the United States who denies the reality. And indeed, we saw yesterday in the Oval Office, President Macron of France have to correct the president of the United States on certain aspects of what he was articulating. There is no doubt that when one looks at what is going on in this country today, there is fear. And look at Elon Musk. Look at the contradictory orders he has given. Some leaders, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and yes, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and yes, Tulsi Gabbard, all these people, by the way, I would not have voted for some of them, as you well know. They are saying no, they won't comply with an order given by a person who has no governmental authority. Elon Musk has not been elected to anything, and his authority, somebody asked me, where does his authority come from? It comes purely from the fact that the President of the United States backs him. And yet, you and I understand the chaos being sown within our government and confusion within our government. Government workers, people who have worked in government for years and who have done wonderful jobs, including the people in AID, are now being dismissed summarily. There is something seriously wrong with what is going on in the United States today. And just so I'm clear with my friends in Trump world, who I know listen to me and react to what I have to say, if a Democrat in the White House had pulled what Donald Trump is trying to pull now, well, I shouldn't say trying, what he is pulling now, you would be up in arms. You would say this is completely wrong. Well, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm very consistent. I would be as angry if a liberal Democrat were to do this as I would if a conservative Republican were doing it. But this is not a liberal or a conservative issue. This is an American issue. This is, frankly, something that should unite all Americans in opposition to what Donald Trump is doing. I gave my class yesterday at the Fromm Institute at the University of San Francisco. And I must tell you, for the first time in years, I was disheartened. Why? people stood and asked me a simple question: what can we do to stop what is happening? And the answer is, the only thing we can do is go to court and mobilize for the midterms. And then I was asked the question, will we be able to recover from what Donald Trump is doing and what Elon Musk is doing and what is happening to our military and what is happening to our Justice Department? Oh yes, we'll recover, but it is an agonizing process. And may I also say a word about Don Bongino, who has been appointed the Deputy Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. As a radio talk show host, I listened to Bongino and was amused by much of what he said, and bemused by much of what he said. The simple fact is, the FBI should be non-political. There should be no politics in the FBI, Democrat or Republican, liberal or conservative. And yet, we now know that Don Bongino in the Federal Bureau of Investigation as the effective administrator, coupled with Kash Patel, who is now confirmed as FBI director, politicizes this agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, as it has never been politicized before. Am I worried? Am I worried about my country? And the answer is yes. I'm worried domestically. I'm worried in terms of foreign policy. I'm worried in terms of how we as a nation are going to recover from all of this. And our firewall, really, the courts. The midterm elections are not until, well, a year and a half away. So that means any attempt to make good on the removal of some of Donald Trump's most outrageous and egregious actions lie with the court. And that doesn't mean lower courts, ladies and gentlemen. That means the Supreme Court. Ultimately, the Supreme Court of the United States will have to step in. What will the Supreme Court do? And what do you do when a president and a vice president say publicly they don't really care what the court says? They're going to proceed along the lines that they choose to take. This is unprecedented in American political history. There has never been a president whose overreach is so clear. I used the terms chaos, confusion at the beginning of this podcast. And that is exactly where we are today. Just listen to the news. Those of you who are Trump supporters, is this what you really want? An America weakened in the way that it is being weakened every single day? Somebody said the Democrats should develop a spine. They have a spine, but they don't have the votes. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, we must be more alert, more active, more concerned. I guarantee you that on Around the Political World with John Rothman, I'm going to speak out. And I hope that you will speak out as well. This is a critical moment in America. Joe Biden was right when he said last year that democracy was under attack. My friends, I believe that with every fiber of my being. I believe in legitimate political dissent. I believe in real discourse. But when you put a Kash Patel and a Don Bongino in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I'm worried. And so should you. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along. Let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which, of course, is our goal. You can interact with me on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can email me. And, of course, we are going to continue to listen to what you have to say. And then we'll tell you what I think. That's it. And, of course, to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer of this podcast. Gogo, don't worry. Your job is secure. I know what you're doing, and you're doing a great job at it. So, ladies and gentlemen, until tomorrow, and heaven only knows where we'll be tomorrow, this is John Rothman, and you are listening to Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you tomorrow.